At the Museum for Islamic Art in Jerusalem, stories of a devastated and grieving daughter, a woman who went out to protest only to never return home, and the woman whose death sparked demonstrations across Iran are highlighted in a video art exhibit which focuses on 5 women who have become symbols of the women's protests across Iran.
There's a lot of visual art which comes alongside poetry. The artworks are published through social media. I started to collect artworks which touched me, inspired me, and that I liked.
Orly Cohen, the curator of 5 Women, Life, Freedom, says the idea to create the exhibit began following protests in Iran after the death of Mahsa Amini, the 22-year-old who Iranian police detained for allegedly having hair visible under her headscarf, and who fell into a coma after collapsing at a detention center. She died just 3 days after in the hospital, which sparked international protests.
Mahsa became the so-called Statue of Liberty of Iran.
But the struggle for women's rights in Iran has been a decades-long battle. A battle that dates back to the Iranian Revolution in 1979, when Ayatollah Khamenei announced an Islamic dress code that became mandatory and women lost most of their rights. The exhibit also tells the story of one woman who became a symbol of the fight for women's freedom more recently in history, in the year 2017, Vida Movahedi.
She removed her headscarf and put it on a stick and waved it. She was immediately arrested. Ever since then, she became a symbol, and the white headscarf became a very important symbol.
The exhibit also features more women who have died violently from these demonstrations, including the story of Hadis Najafi, who went viral in a video of her preparing to go out and protest. She never returned home.
One day she went out to a protest in her city. She sent a message to her friend that she's proud to be in this protest because she'll know she was a part of this in the future when everything will change. After half an hour, she was shot with 6 bullets. She died immediately. After a few hours, videos surfaced of her tying up her hair and walking towards the protest, and they flooded social media. Many girls in Iran and abroad made videos of themselves tying up their hair as a tribute.
While some women didn't participate in the demonstrations across Iran in 2022, they've still paid the ultimate price with their lives or bodies.
Fereshteh Ahmadi didn't go to the protest. She was standing on the roof of her house.
Ahmadi, a mother of 2, was shot to death. A picture of her weeping daughter tells the story of the family members whose lives have been changed forever as a result of the violence during these protests.
The world was touched by the image of her young daughter crying and holding in her tiny hand the dust and dirt where her mum was buried. Only 24 hours later, the image of these hands became a source for many artworks which were spread across social media.
But Ahmadi is just one of the women who has suffered at the hands of violence despite not taking part in the demonstrations.
Ghazal was on the street with her mother when a guard fired a metal bullet at her eye. She wasn't even in a protest. Ghazal, a brave and exceptionally beautiful woman, shared her experience on her Instagram page. She said, "They can take my eye away, but they cannot shut me up and take away my desire to live and my desire to live freely."
Art, a symbol of tragedy, but also of hope across Iran.